Hi folks, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to episode 7 of I Like Big Boats and I Cannot Lie, a weekly event where I discuss my favorite thing, submarines. I hope your week has been fantastic, and I hope you're taking some time to rest up for the week ahead. Take some breaths, relax your body. You made it, you survived, and you're going to survive this week too. The challenges can be overcome. You are not alone. This week runs from October 27th and ends November 1st. There's a lot of boats to discuss, so let's dive right in. We'll start with the launching of the USS Dogfish, SS-350, on October 27th, 1945. Dogfish was a Vallejo-class sub built by Electric Boat Company in Groton, Connecticut. Her sponsor was Mrs. A.M. Morgan. In 1967, the keel was laid for USS Pintado, SSN 672, built by Mare Island Naval Shipyard in Vallejo, California. Pintado, second of her name, was a short-hull sturgeon-class attack submarine with the motto Al Mas Pintado, to the most able, to the wisest. The Sturgeon, or 637-class boats, were the Navy's primary workforce from the 1960s until about 2004. Beginning with Archer fish, the boats had an extra 10 feet in the hull for larger working and living space, hence the long and short hull designation. USS Parchee received an extra 100 feet, like the USS Jimmy Carter, for some secret stuff I don't care about and don't want to talk about. Sturgeon boats were essentially the same as their Thresher permit predecessors, with the same 5-compartment arrangement, but longer and improved. The operations compartment on Sturgeons was lengthened to accommodate a Mark 37 torpedo. She was also redesigned to subsafe requirements, as were all boats since the inception of the subsafe program. But that's a story for another time. Jumping forward to 1969, we have a bit of an odd boat, the USS NR-1. She was never officially named or commissioned, but placed into service on October 27th. She was the smallest nuclear sub ever put into service, and was homeported at Naval Submarine Base, New London. NR-1, or Nirwin, was 147 feet in length and carried a complement of 3 officers, 8 crew, and 2 scientists up to 3,000 feet deep for up to 16 days. Nirwin's missions revolved around oceanographic research, geological surveys, searches, and installation and maintenance of underwater equipment. She completed numerous classified missions in the 1970s and the 1980s. In 1986, she was used to search for, identify, and recover parts of the Space Shuttle Challenger following its tragic loss. Currently, NR-1 is on display at the Submarine Force Library and Museum in Groton, where one can also see the USS Nautilus. In 1979, the USS San Francisco, SSN 711, was launched by Newport News Shipbuilding. She was sponsored by Mrs. Robert Y. Kaufman. San Francisco's motto was Oro en paz, fierro en guerra, which means gold in peace, iron in war. San Francisco suffered an unfortunate and fatal collision in her time, but that is also a story for another video. Currently, she's moored as a training ship at the Nuclear Power School. In 2012, the USS Minnesota, SSN 783, was christened by her sponsor, Ellen Ruffhead, wife of the U.S. Navy Chief of Naval Operations. There isn't much about her yet because she's new. Her motto is Ex Septentrio Virtus, from the North Tower. Her current home port is Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. On the 28th of October, 1912, USS Seal, SS 19½, later named G-1, was commissioned in the New York Navy Yard with Lieutenant Keith Whiting in command. Seal was a G-class submarine, though all 4 boats were so wildly different, they are usually considered to be 4 unique boats. There's some drama surrounding the G-class, lots of competition and submarine design. All previous boats have been designed by Electric Boat, but now it seemed everyone wanted a shot. G1, G2, and G4 were the last gasoline engine-powered subs in the U.S. Navy. Seal, or G1, was built under such high performance expectations that the Navy expected it to fail, so they never assigned it a hull number. Then, when it didn't fail, they very awkwardly declared it 19½. Outstanding. In 1967, the USS Trepang SSN 674 was laid by General Dynamics Electric Boat. Trepang was a Sturgeon-class sub, nuclear, powered by an S-5W reactor. October 28, 1989 brings the christening of the USS Asheville, SSN 758, the Ghost of the Coast. She was sponsored by Mrs. Dorothy Helms. Her motto is, "From the mountains to the seas." Currently, she's homeboarded at Naval Base Guam. How often do we talk about Guam? I feel like it's pretty rare here. On the 29th of October, 1965, USS Simon Bolivar, SSBN 641, was commissioned, with Commander Charles H. Griffith commanding the Blue Crew and Charles A. Oram commanding the Gold. Simon Bolivar had been built by Newport News Shipbuilding in Virginia, second of the 12 Benjamin Franklin-class ballistic submarines. She went through her shakedown in December of 65 and early into January 1966. The Gold crew successfully fired a Polaris missile off Cape Kennedy, Florida, on the 17th of January, and the Blue crew fired one on the 31st, beginning a long career that spanned into 1995. In 1974, the USS Greenfish, SS-351, was decommissioned and struck from the Naval Vessel Register after a career that began in 1946. This Belleo-class sub was sold under terms of the Security Assistance Program to Brazil on the 19th of December 1973. The Brazilian Navy renamed her Amazonas. 1977 brings the launching of the USS Birmingham, SSN 695, built by Newport News Shipbuilding. She was sponsored by Mrs. Martin Pittman Allen, wife of Alabama Senator James Allen. I like their motto, Simplicior Optimus. The Wikipedia page says, quote, translated from the unofficial English language, simply the best, by MM1 Rick Penza. So thank you, Mr. Penza, for such a fantastic motto. Birmingham has since been disposed of by the Ship and Submarine Recycling Program at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington. Her sail was placed on display at the Defense Supply Center in Columbus. USS California, SSN 781, a Virginia-class submarine, was commissioned on this date in 2011 in Norfolk, Virginia. She apparently cost $2.3 billion to build, which is probably small potatoes for the Navy. Somehow her builder, Huntington Ingalls Industries, managed to deliver her to the Navy 8.5 months ahead of schedule. California is in active service, homeported in Groton, Connecticut. Her motto is Silentium est aureum, silence is golden. After 5 war patrols and a conversion into a special experimental submarine, USS Bahia, SS-318, was finally decommissioned on the 30th of October, 1972. She was struck from the Naval Register on the same day, but wouldn't be sold for scrap until the 12th of October, 1973. The USS Drum, SSN 677, second of her name, was decommissioned on this day in 1995. She was stored at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington, until May 20th, 2010, when she entered Draddock 3 for recycling. Her reactor was shipped to the Hanford site for burial, which, in case you weren't aware, that's what the Navy does with its reactors. Seals them up and dumps them in a big ditch at the Hanford nuclear site. Drum's sail was removed for display and now rests at the Navy Recruiting Training Command in Great Lakes, Illinois. The 31st of October is my favorite holiday, Halloween, and it's also launching day for the USS Snook, SSN 592. Snook, built by Ingalls Shipbuilding in Pascagoula, Mississippi, was a skipjack-class submarine launched in 1960. Her sponsor was Mrs. George L. Walling, mother of Commander John F. Walling, the commanding officer of the first USS Snook, SS-279, at the time of her loss during World War II. Bless her, that must have been incredibly hard to do. 21 years later, the USS Norfolk, SSN 714, was launched, sponsored by Mrs. Rebecca Jane Weinbarger, wife of Caspar Willard Weinbarger. Caspar Weinbarger was a career politician, most notably as the Secretary of Defense under President Ronald Reagan from January 1981 to November 1987. There's also a whole thing about his involvement in the Iran-Contra affairs, but that's not really a discussion for right now. Norfolk's motto is Vipe Concordium, strength through unity. She has been stricken from the Naval Register and is awaiting submarine recycling. Sadly now October slips away, and November once again arrives. For all those National Novel Writing Month people, it's their first day of writing, but for me, it's just a day we get to talk about more boats. USS Sea Dog, SS-401, was laid down on this date in 1943. Sea Dog was a Vallejo-class submarine built at the Portsmouth Navy Yard in Kittery. In 1958, the USS George Washington, SSBN 598, was laid down in Groton, Connecticut, as the first boat in a new class. George Washington was originally laid down as a fast attack sub, USS Scorpion 589, but a 130-foot missile compartment was added to her body instead, and the Scorpion name was given to a different sub being built, which ended tragically. The USS Abraham Lincoln, SSBN 602, was also laid on this date, this time in Kittery. Lincoln was another George Washington ballistic missile sub. That's all I've got for this week, friends. Take care, and I hope to see you soon.